Before today's episode starts, I want to tell you about our sponsor. Thank you so much, Village Pizza. Village Pizza is the home of pizza in Perry County. They have a wide variety of toppings, desserts, and other high-quality items on their menu. They offer the highest of quality when it comes to dining in all of Perry County. Village is an excellent option if you are looking for an affordable meal, good employees, and a great environment. And if you want to throw a party, what better way to cater it than with a guaranteed W party food? Their staff is always hard at work providing you homemade ingredients, all mixed into a perfect circle cut into triangles. Their pizzas are more than good. They are great. And if you're looking for a good job, Village Pizza is always looking for helping hands in the kitchen and up front. So go pick you up an application and start your journey as the pizza man you always dreamed of being. They are located at 853 Squirrel Hollow Drive in Linden, Tennessee. So go get you some Village Pizza and kick back and enjoy this episode of the Perry County Podcast. What's up, Perry County? Welcome back to the Perry County Podcast. Thank you all for listening, watching, and subscribing. So, set change, obviously.
Yeah. I'm liking it.
Yeah, we got a table now. I don't know what to do with my arms. We also got matching chairs. Mine's different, of course. Centerpiece.
Yeah, King's got to have his throne, whatever you want to call it.
We got the mic set up. We're still working on the quality.
We're still working on the quality. The video quality is probably very poor on this. I'm not sure how it's going to end up looking. We're recording episode 2 now, but last night we recorded episode 3.
And speaking of set change and stuff, last night what we did forget to do is put the fanny pack of the Polaroids up there. So this episode, you will notice that. Next week, you will not.
Yeah, we also, Cardboard Kev makes an appearance next week, so make sure you tune in to see that.
Is Cardboard Kev here to stay?
Cardboard Kev is now part of the Perry County Podcast.
I'm liking it.
All right. So, without further ado, our guest is Perry County's finest. He is a Perry County High School alumni. He also has been to college. Not sure which one. We'll find out here in a minute.
Yeah.
But he's a very smart guy, and I'm sure y'all look up to him just as much as I do. So, yeah.
All the way from Korea.
Yeah, let's bring him on. Luke Cagle. How you doing, man?
What's going on?
How's it going?
What's up, guys?
Long time no see. Didn't just totally see you earlier today.
Yeah. It's only
This
been a couple
guy,
hours.
He is a Perry County, what do you call it? Native.
He's a Perry County native.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We helped him move into his house today.
Sure did.
I was not there. I was in Summertown.
Yeah.
It seemed like you might have been moving some similar stuff compared to us.
Yeah. Well, at least y'all had the three of y'all. It was me.
Oh, that's horrible.
It was me. That was it.
Yeah.
I love that.
No, it was not fun.
But Luke, you're now teaching at the Parsons Martin, right?
UT Martin Parsons.
What class do you teach?
Accounting. Okay.
Actually, one of your, future guests is in one of my courses.
Yeah, we were talking about that last night. That did get brought up.
Yeah, Bryson Groves said that he's in your class.
Yeah.
Is he a good student?
He is. He's a good student.
Oh,
Does he do his work?
Yes.
Well, he says you're a good teacher, so hit on that a little bit. What exactly do you get into?
I mean, it's accounting. Numbers.
It's accounting. It's numbers.
Just
Lots of numbers.
Just lots of numbers. Well, speaking of numbers and stuff, I know this makes no sense moving into it. But speaking of numbers, don't you just miss having us three in your youth group?
The switch has been a little weird.
The switch has been weird.
Because, you got a good youth group. I'm sure I've seen you got Andy Lytle, and don't you have Connor Edney and all them?
I like the fact that our group was able to move on and not have to cling to
each other.
I guess us or each other.
Yeah.
I should say, I think that it makes us feel better about what went on.
Yeah.
Because we're supposed to like teach y'all, and
Right.
because you're only here for 4 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's for it. But, yeah, I mean, I think the way that we moved out of it, it was cool. Like, I showed up near the end. It would have been cool to have y'all for longer, but
I was about to say you were there for about 3-4 weeks.
I showed up on the tail end of it, and I had a lot of fun.
I was there for from March till August.
Probably so. Something like that.
Yeah, March is when I started coming, and then August.
Yep.
We've got about the same demeanor from our current group as what we had from, and Andrew can attest to this, as what we had from them when they first started. There's very lot of like sheltered, kind of getting to know, getting your feet wet. That's kind of ironic.
Then we all get used to each other, and it's like, bam, here comes the group. This is the group.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which, I mean, obviously those are how some, like, real strong friendships bond are there. This in small groups.
Which it took a couple months the first time around.
I was about to say it may take till Christmas time or so, but then after that,
Once you get sort of warmer weather, get to where you can do things with each other,
yeah.
that makes it easier to sort of bond and get to know each other a little better.
Yeah, most definitely.
And I mean, don't get me wrong, I love the whole bonfire ideas and stuff we do, but like now, doing those bonfires, it's gonna be cold. Like I mean, cold, cold.
Yeah, we are in the set right now, and it is quite literally freezing. And you can only imagine how cold it is outside.
It's a solid 38 degrees in this room.
Yeah, it's
really
very,
is.
very cold.
Y'all got to figure out that heater situation.
We're eventually going to move the set from my shop into my basement. I
I'm
just don't
starting
have
to
the
think
room
we
for
should
it.
just build a tiny fire under the table.
Yeah, I'm starting to think you may be right. We just need to get a little fire going underneath here because we got to do something. I need to clean out the basement and move this in there.
Yeah. Speaking
Sooner
of, why didn't
before
we think
later.
about running the heater under the table? Because then the mic's not going to pick it up at all.
You know, we could have thought about that, shouldn't we? But now we're already in. We're just too far gone, too far deep into the water. But yeah, I think whenever they give us that choice to leave or stay with your friends, like they give you the choice to. I think, like, when I seen that, it was, like, an ample opportunity for me to say, I can help other people out. I don't need these two. Yeah. And I think we just all – I don't even think we talked about it. We all just said that, like –
No, like –
there was no –
and honestly, it wasn't like a you done it first and then one of us followed and then the other followed. It was all, like –
it was all
right there on
– we
the
didn't
spot
tell
when
each
y'all
other.
asked. It was just like, we can split up and do this.
Yeah.
See, here, Mr. Tim, he said, now you're a leader. And it was Connor and Trenton leaders. And I was like, man, they signed the paper. Like, they're ready for it. And he was like, all right, good deal. Like, he was real glad that we were stepping up to the plate. And that's what we need in our
Well, I was about to say,
group.
we're 3 of the oldest people, if not the 3 oldest there that are still.
It's you 3 and Lyndon that I think are the
Lyndon,
seniors.
yeah.
All right, now, make me feel like a grandpa over here.
Yeah.
We're old minute here. It's all right. We're not as old as Luke.
Yeah. But,
Watch it there.
Very sensitive subject, huh?
Yeah, that's a tough one there.
age 'tis but a number in this situation.
Yeah, and I will say, I think it has, like, shown an effect. Because, like, in my group, I'm, like, the only person who talks. And you got some people that get in there, and you've seen them before. They're loud people, you know. But when they're with a different person, then they're not used to. My group is Miss Reagan's group. It's me, Treston, Kayla, and Josie, Brooke, and Dagan.
So you got Kayla in there. That's a fun
Yeah, but the thing is that she hardly talks. I think she's just now kind of warming up to Miss Reagan,
Yeah.
which
she was that way when she first started with Tim's group.
Yeah.
because
And
Miss
then she turned into Kayla.
yeah, well, you know, our first Wednesday night together, Miss Reagan said, "Oh, I finally got a group. You know, I asked Mr. Tim if he'd get me a loud group. You know, somebody to talk to." And they're in there. It's just like crickets, and it's me and her talking. I mean, we try to encourage. Like I do try to encourage them to talk. If it's they can't understand what's going on, maybe break it down or just try to relate to them. But
Yeah. I'll tell you what, I got pretty lucky with my group. I mean, 3 of the 5 of us are pretty quiet. Not gonna lie, Lily, Haley, and Kristen are all kind of quiet. Sam's not Sam yet.
she was that way first time in our group.
Yeah. Kaylee wasn't.
Kaylee didn't talk for the first
Oh, I could only imagine.
month.
No, she didn't say
Oh.
words.
She was there.
Yeah.
She's not saying anything yet in Tim's group either. She won't talk yet. She'll
But,
get there.
She'll get there.
Shaylin's really stepping up right now. She's trying to encourage everybody, and I'll say there's times where Shaylin's was a little more in it than I was, because I had to get warm at first. I did, but I mean now it's pretty smooth.
I didn't.
McKenna's a little quiet. I'm not gonna lie, McKenna is a little quiet.
It's her
But you got
first time.
Trent, right?
Oh yeah, we got Trent
Yeah.
though. But see,
McKenna-
like the 3 weeks that Trent was subbing for Miss Reagan whenever she was gone, it was crickets in that room, man.
Also, you have to think
She strikes me as one of those
McKenna's
people.
new.
Yeah, McKenna's new.
Yeah, she's
in
new too.
Total.
Yeah, she's new in
Like,
total and new to doing youth group.
I think she's trying to just
Yeah.
take it all in, you know.
Yeah, in which that's fine.
Yeah.
By all means, that's fine. You know.
Which
I mean,
I had the chance to work under Miss Reagan for a little bit.
mm-hmm.
My first youth group was basically being the second to Miss Reagan's group.
Yeah,
Yeah.
when I came
See,
like a
like,
few
kinda like
years
Trent
ago,
was
you were.
last year.
It was like you. Whenever I went a few years ago, I went with. I just showed up, and then I was in Andy Lytle and his group, and I think
Yep.
Miss Reagan was the. Yeah, because I just seen my friends over there. That's where I went.
She was head honcho. Yeah.
But-
At
I don't
first.
remember who I was in that group.
I remember y'all had us fill out like a worksheet.
That was you, Jordan.
Me, Jordan.
Oh yeah, Jordan Tatum was there. Choppa.
Choppa.
Yeah, Jordan Tatum, Chopper. The man, the myth, the legend at the gym these days.
Yeah, Choppa. Choppa's
guy
always
is
in the
looking
gym.
shredded.
He's looking awful big.
I'm telling
Awful big. Up here. Anyway. he's slacking a little bit on the legs, but
He's what you call a sleeper build.
yeah. Yeah. Man,
Yeah.
he's got the build. He's got the genetics for it. I don't
He,
have that.
he looks small. Like if he's just like wearing normal clothes, like what we're wearing right now, he looks a little
you
bitty.
wouldn't think it, but when he gets in the gym,
Like
You just roll
He's
that
huge.
sleeve up to his shoulder.
yeah, I mean you can tell.
Yeah.
I was about to
Oh,
say,
yeah.
if he's in a cutoff, you can tell by the definition in the forearms that
Oh,
he's.
yeah.
Yeah.
He's shredded.
Yeah, he came in the gym one day in his work shirt. I'm like, "What's up, Jordan?" He came out in a cut off shirt, and I'm like, "Okay,
Yeah.
dude's
Hi,
been here
Jordan.
before."
Dude's been here, yeah.
Yeah, he told me he's been working out for about like going on to about almost 2 years now. I remember me and him started back working out at Miss Janine's, and he eventually moved over, and then we moved over later. But yeah, so we're still all,
Unforeseen circumstances.
Unfortunately, they were, yeah.
I'll keep my opinions to myself. No,
Me too.
I like Oakland's gym. He does a good job of making
Yeah.
sure that everything's where it should be.
He really does.
All the equipment's good.
Yeah. He does
Yeah,
his
he
best
really
to keep
does.
it clean. I mean,
I
Yeah.
thoroughly enjoy. He has fans on his treadmill.
Oh,
yeah, that makes everything
That
10
is
times
just a
better.
wonderful feature right there.
I do love that. I love the fans.
Originally, back, I guess that was my freshman year, whenever I started going to the gym, whenever I was hitting it pretty hard, at least 5 days a week. That's where we went. I believe that's where I was at. Definitely not where I'm at now, because now I've just built like more natural muscle than
Just,
Just-
work
yeah.
work muscle.
because
You can't beat it. though.
there's a big difference between like working out to build muscle and then building just natural muscle.
Mhm.
Because I was probably skinnier between the summer of freshman and sophomore year than I am now,
Yeah.
but I wouldn't hold a candle to what I can do now.
Now you worked out a lot. You played football, didn't you? Back in high
I played
school?
football. I didn't work out a lot in high school. I got bigger my junior to senior year because of the hardware store.
Gotcha.
They put me in the back
Put you in the yard.
hauling lumber. I'm sure you can test this. You work with Mark for long enough, and you're
Yeah.
gonna learn how to throw those 4x4s and 6x6s over your shoulder and carry them to wherever he tells you to.
Speaking of 4x4s, Andrew, what incident did you have occur to you yesterday?
Man, I dropped about 4 of them things right on my big toe. And it's not.
Let me set the scene for you.
There is no sunlight out in a couple days. I'm a snowman. That thing is black.
Andrew pulled his sock off, and we look at his toe. His toenail is absolutely flattened, and his toe is flattened with it. And we sat there and stared at it for a second. And why is it smashed?
Yeah.
I mean, it is absolutely it got obliterated. Yeah,
Yeah,
almost.
that's
It is
it.
almost as black as that purple, that grape slushy.
Looking about like our mic right here.
Yeah.
It really is, man.
About the same size too. Just
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, honestly.
It was. I don't know how I'm walking. I don't know how I do that.
Yeah.
I don't know how you're walking either.
I was about to
It's
say,
a little tough.
I had an incident with my foot at work. We're not going to get into the details about that because that's not really
The day after I broke my foot
at youth group.
at youth group.
I remember that.
One of my first nights coming there.
That was.
It was your game.
It was the first youth. It was the first youth group of June. Is what it was. It was the first Wednesday of June.
What was that game again? It was like
Survivor ball.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
Survivor
almost-
ball. It was basically dodgeball.
It was dodgeball,
with
but
lines.
no lines. But we played it like there was lines.
Yeah, I was about to say we played it like there was
Yeah.
lines. We were playing a little more
Look,
reserved.
Yeah.
But
when I
I'll
play
tell you
dodgeball, I
what.
try to dodge.
I hope you know. Whenever you picked that game, you had to have been picking for like the betterment of our team. 'Cause
I
you-
wanted
you-
our group to
I was
win.
about to say.
I mean,
you
you
knew
had to
we
have
were going to
known we
win
were
that.
going to win.
But also, I worked at a church camp one summer for a friend of mine, and they played that game. And of course, me being the adult child that I am, I
played too.
I played with them,
Yeah, heck yeah, man.
and I learned things. Like you sit in the middle, that way the ball comes to you. You make alliances, you break alliances, you take
Dang.
people out, you hit them in the back of the head.
You're out here playing survival of the fittest and survival ball.
It's survivor ball. You,
I was about to say.
you take no prisoners.
I was about to say I was not holding back at all because the first team we played, they sent out 3 freshmen, I believe. They were going to be freshmen that year because they had just
Well,
got.
it was us against middle school, is what
Or
the first
yeah,
one was.
no, that's what it was. They were middle schoolers, and Dane was one of them.
We just annihilated them. Man.
And
It's terrible.
look, don't get me wrong, I love Dane to death. He's athletic. He's good at every sport he plays. He's
He is.
just a natural athlete.
He's
kid's
just
gonna
not.
play
He's not big enough yet.
But
He'll get there.
whenever you put him,
He will get there.
as of right now, he's what? Probably 4'8", 4'9", something like that.
How old is Dane?
Probably so.
He's same age as Dunkel's boy, so he's 11 or 12
He's in
probably.
middle school, I think.
He's
Oh,
probably
yeah, he'll shoot up. here.
he's probably 12.
He'll
I'd
shoot.
say.
He'll shoot up.
I mean, you've seen his daddy, right? His
Yeah.
daddy's like 6'5".
His dad's a bigger guy, you know. And
Yeah.
The scariest part is, have y'all ever seen him hit a golf ball?
Dane
No,
or his dad.
Both.
neither one.
Yeah. I've seen them both hit a golf ball.
I haven't.
Yeah.
I have not either.
Keep in mind that dude is like 3 foot tall.
And
That's how
he
hit it.
drives like he needs to be in like lower class PGA.
Oh man,
Like
6 foot tall PGA player over here.
on hole 6, that's the one that goes across the creek. That's what 340 yards probably. That kid,
He clears a good 250.
oh,
At
easily.
least.
Like off drive, like before it hits the ground, it goes 250 in the air. It travels
How's he that
250
good?
in the air.
How
Because
is
his
that
dad,
at?
both his dad and his mother are both really good golfers.
They're really good golfers. His
Bob
dad,
Turnbow, his grandfather, is a really good golfer.
yeah.
Yeah, man, my great
Golf is
grandfather,
run in his blood.
he won a lot
Sounds
of
like it.
tournaments in Memphis, and there's actually a diamond trophy. We have a full diamond trophy, like a diamond rock that big. It's got his name engraved in it. He
I
is
can't.
one
I
of the
can't play
best-
golf for the life of me.
I can't play golf either, but
I've
he
been
was good.
around. Everybody in my family is good at golf. Jake was good at golf.
I enjoy it. I
Brett's
learned the other
good
day.
at golf, but
I was playing a round of 18 with my dad, Uncle Rayfield, and my granddad, and I was shanking just like every shot was hitting. Come to find out, when you hold a club, you're supposed to hold it like this. That way you wrap around it. Well, my thumb is double jointed, so instead of holding it like that, I was holding it like that.
Oh,
And anytime I would hold the club, it would shift in my hand.
Without you realizing.
Yeah, so it would shank it.
So like you were wrapping your thumb all the way around instead of.
And instead of holding it here in the meat of my hand,
Yeah.
like you're supposed to, I was holding it on the outside of the meat of my hand,
Yeah.
between my thumb.
Yeah.
Yep,
See, I always had a problem where I would slice right instead of hook left because I always put it on the inside of my hand. I run it in my knuckles. Like, I held it exactly like I held a baseball bat because I always held a baseball bat outside. And it
So
would,
you went to college.
Yep.
Where'd you go to college?
Which one?
Which one? Okay.
well,
Okay.
where'd you start?
Where'd you start?
I spent 4 years of undergrad at Bethel University, McKenzie,
Okay.
Tennessee. Go Wildcats. We are currently 11-0, and the
11-0 in what sport?
football.
Football.
Okay.
The current season champions of whatever our division is now. I forget what it is.
Did you get any good scholarships or?
I was actually full ride.
That's what I'm talking about. What'd you get scholarships for? Grades or sports or?
So, while I was looking at colleges, I met my recruiter over at Bethel, and he was like, "Hey, there's this scholarship competition that we do over at Bethel every year. They take some of the good students from around the surrounding counties."
Oh, you want one?
And I'm good. And they compete. They do a test, they do an interview, and they do a writing prompt. He said, it's a good opportunity if you win it. If not, you meet a lot of cool people, most of them who end up coming to Bethel in the first place. And where I was going, I didn't know anybody. Most everybody from Linden goes to Freed, Lipscomb, Austin P.
Martin.
Every once in a while, you'll get a, like, Columbia or something.
See, our class had a lot of UNA people.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's where Tucker was. So that was sort of the big hurrah there. Bethel made sense for me financially. It made sense for me in terms of my education, what I was looking for. So I go up there, and I start talking to these people and the amount of opportunity that we get at our schools is phenomenal. The fact that we can come out of here with, what is it now, 16? Extra college credits?
You can take a college history, you take a psychology, you take Comp 1, Comp 2, Math 1, Math 2.
See, I essentially had a full semester done
Yeah.
before I ever stepped foot in college.
Yeah, and alongside with the college, they allow us to go to like VOTEC, like tech school.
Yeah.
And that's where me and Andrew go. We go across to next to Tim's for the industrial maintenance. And they offer welding too, which you get that your junior and your senior year, just like those college classes and stuff.
Yeah.
See, I started in the actual college classes, and then I took college history. Easiest class you'll take in college by far. And that's where I realized that college just wasn't it for me. Because, I mean,
It's not for everybody.
college takes a lot of discipline. I'll say that. College does take a lot of discipline. And that's not...
I wouldn't say you lack discipline.
I lack the want for college.
Yeah.
So you got
Like-
an undergrad in Bethel. So
Unwanted
where else?
discipline.
Yeah, where'd you go on to after Bethel?
So, back to that competition. I went up there. My full intention was like, I'm up here to meet people. Like, I don't know anybody coming into here. I need to sort of lay some groundwork for some like friendships and things like that. Met some of my best friends from college that day. So that worked.
You still talk to him?
Get up there. Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
One of them married my college roommate.
Wow.
Oh.
There's a funny story about that. I'll tell you another time. But I got up there. I ran through the test requirements. Like I'm just doing this to do it. I'm here to make friends. I talked to other people from there. They're like, yeah, that trig part on there was hard. I took that back in like 8th grade. And I'm like, well, I'd sit out of the 2 yesterday. I'm a senior. I'm like, I have no chance here. I'm fine with that.
We're cool.
Oh, good.
I'm sitting in Miss Sylvie Walker's math class, and Miss Susan Rose, Miss Betty Bell come to the door. They're like, Luke Cagle, we need to talk to you. I'm like, okay. Why does the Irish Foundation need to talk to me?
It's always my thinking when they get
Yeah.
me. I'm like, what do you want?
Well, I mean, like we didn't qualify for Ayers money or anything like that. So
Yeah.
I'm like, this is kind of odd. I get in there and my mom's standing there with a phone in her hand, and she's like, "Hey, it's Jesse, who was my Bethel recruiter."
Mm-hmm.
And she says, "It's for you." I'm like, "Okay." This couldn't have like waited for me to get out of class. I answer the phone and he's like, "Hey, what's up?" We talked for a little bit. He says, "By the way, you won the Hendrix," which was a full ride, full room board, full books, like everything paid for. And I said, "What?" He said, "Yeah, you got a full ride to college."
That's crazy.
Wow.
And I'm like, "Okay, that's cool."
Yeah, I mean,
Man.
the shock that was probably going through you at that time.
Then what semester was that? You remember? Your first, second?
That's my senior year of high school.
Yeah,
Yeah,
was it your first or second semester of your senior year?
Second,
Oh.
because we're getting hard and heavy into the like college recruitment. I was getting letters from my other colleges saying, "Hey, here's your scholarship."
But they never said, here's your free ride like Bethel did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was about to say,
Freed fought pretty hard. I remember the phone call I had from them about a week later, because of course I had to tell them like, "Hey, I've accepted an offer from another school." Well, Freed called me and they're like, "Hey, we can up your offer to X amount," and I'm like,
that's a good amount of money, but
it sounds great,
it's not a full ride.
and I like Freed, but like this is a full ride. And she said, "Oh,
Free.
well, congratulations."
Congratulations.
You just hear, oh, and she hangs the phone up. You just hear her slam it down.
Yeah, I was about to say, don't get me wrong, Freed's a good school.
Yeah.
My aunt,
That's where Hope went.
she married my uncle. That's where she went for all of her, for like her first 4 years of college. No, she went there for her first, 4 years, and then she ended up going somewhere else for the last 2. But it was more like online, but she went to Freed, and where I don't want to go to college anymore, she like tried to get me to go to college. She was like, "Hey, I will give you my Freed alumni scholarship," which is like, it pays completely for the first 2 years of college. And that's not talking about any other scholarships I get. And I was like, that's a good offer and all, but like,
No.
Freed's not, a 4-year university is just not
No,
where I'm sitting.
no.
She's die hard though, you know. She played basketball for them, played softball for them.
Now, where's Freed located?
Henderson.
Henderson.
Yeah.
It's
Just
not
south
too
of
far.
Jackson. Yeah.
No,
About
about an hour?
maybe an hour
Oh, that ain't bad at all.
I'd say hour 15 at max.
at max.
I mean, it's a pretty campus, too.
Probably if you're
Oh,
on the limit.
really pretty. And I'll tell you what, another thing about Bethel is they have, as of right now, they have the top bass fishing team in the country. They have top 10 archery, which it's not like the Olympic archery or anything like that. It's like what we would go hunting with archery. It's not.
Oh,
just,
these guys make the Bassmaster Classic.
Oh, they make Bassmaster Classic every year. They go to World Finals in archery almost every year.
My cousin, his name's Chase Milholland. He's on their bass fishing team. He's a senior this year. He's studying criminal justice, I believe. Man, if I ever go fishing with that guy, I'm like, I can't do it. Because he's catching all the fish left and right. I'm using the same bait and I ain't getting nothing. I don't know how he does it.
It's crazy. Like,
It's wild.
that like tournament fishing is so much different than just recreational fishing. I've done them both, and talking about getting out there at 4 o'clock in the morning already on the water, whether it's 17 degrees or whether it's 95 at 4 in the morning.
You got 16 lines dropped off every side of the boat, every angle you can get.
Yep.
No. See, like you can't do that. It's all
It's
working
one line.
bait. It's one line per person.
Really?
And, yeah. So like it's not like catfishing, nothing like that. It's just bass. You can't use live bait. It all has to be plastic baits.
Yeah, it's all gotta be plastic. Here he is throwing the same direction I'm throwing. 7 fish later, and I'm at finally. I'm like, man, come
No,
on.
I know what you mean, because like fishing with my granddad and my uncle, both my uncles, they're all fishermen at heart. Like
Yeah.
some of the best fishermen I've ever seen in my life. Like they can go out on days where nobody catches nothing and still pull in some. And I'm back there in the back of the boat fishing just as hard as I can.
Off the back of the boat.
Oh, off the back of the boat. Yeah, that's the key. Off the back of the boat, I'm fishing just as hard as I can, working every muscle in my body fishing. And it's for 12 hours just about it.
Yeah.
I'm a very poor fisherman, and I haven't caught anything since 2019. Let me date this back for you. And you want to take a guess? The last thing I caught was under the Rock House Bridge, and it wasn't a fish. Last thing I caught was a bag of old tampons, a Ziploc bag full of old tampons.
Oh, I
reeled
remem-
it in.
I
and,
remember getting this phone call.
I reeled it in, and me and Christian went fishing. So, hey, Christian, I think I caught, because it was just a Ziploc bag, and it was muddy, and like I could make out, it had the plastic stuff in it, so I could just make out like a silver color, because they're silver. And I was thinking, I've either pulled up like a bag of drugs or like a bag of bullets. I reel it in, I pull it closer, and the muddy water starts draining out further, and I go, oh God.
Oh, God.
That was horrible. I got
It's
a picture.
not drugs. It's not bullets. It's so much worse.
Yeah, like
I
I would
would've
have
rather-
much
I would have rather
without
caught a
guns.
bag of dope.
Like I would have rather caught something else, but Christian took my picture of me holding it, like I caught a fish. It was still hooked on the line. We took it off, threw it back for some other poor soul to catch, and
And somebody lost that while they were floating and was madder than all get out when they lost it.
well, why were they used though? They were out of the wrapper. They were just put in. There's so many questions I got about why that was
Makes it
there.
10 times worse.
Ooh.
Yeah.
It-
Yeah.
I was
Let's
about
just
to say,
I try not to go fishing a lot now with Christian.
like, don't get me wrong, like,
Sounds
now that
like
I'm older, like, back in 2019, that puts us at what? I'd have been 14 at the time. You were at most 15? No, you were 14 because that was that summer.
Golly, y'all make me feel old.
So,
In 2019, I was a senior in college.
37. Yep.
Senior in college, whenever we were not even in high school.
I was about to say, that would have been our 8th grade year,
Man.
Yeah.
right before our 8th grade year.
Yeah. Right before.
Yep.
So,
Well,
I
no,
mean-
that was right before our freshman year. 2019, we graduated in 2019 from 8th grade.
no, we graduated. Yeah, you're right, 2019. That would have been our freshman year.
Yep.
But, I mean, back then at that age, I probably would have freaked out,
Well, I wasn't really freaked out as much as I was like,
Disgusted?
What
Like,
in the
why?
heck is this, man?
Yeah. See, like, now I guess I'm a little older. I've kind of matured. Like, stuff like that doesn't
No, trust
bother
me. If I still caught a bag of tampons, I wouldn't have
Yeah.
the same reaction.
Yeah, if I catch a bag of used tampons, I'm probably going to flip just a little bit. I'm going to be
I
like,
wasn't really flipping. I was just like, why is this? Like, I mean, there were so many
Why?
questions running through my
Yeah.
mind. I was more
See,
confused
were
than
they
anything.
used or were they open? Because those are two very different things.
yeah.
I'm telling you, I'm pretty sure they were used, man. Because you had the
Okay, but
plastic
see-
part
but
in
see,
there,
like,
and
my-
then you had the.
Okay, the plastic
I
part
would've-
and then the tampon.
I
Yeah,
would've
those
just
were
cut the
used,
line.
buddy. Those
I
those
would've
were
just cut
used.
the line. The
Yeah,
line would've
I
been
wouldn't
long.
have touched
No,
that
I
bag.
just pulled
No,
it
you
off.
cut
and
the
threw it.
line, you throw in the fishing pole, and you leave.
Yeah. I was left for dead.
Or forget cutting the line.
Or
you
you
just
just
chunk
throw
the fishing
everything.
pole with everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just throw everything and go home.
Yeah, some poor
I
souls,
I
man.
remember.
Tell your mom you got mugged and
I
somebody
got-
started a fishing
That's
rod.
it,
Just
that's
don't tell
it.
anybody. Well, in
Don't
my
tell
case,
nobody.
in my case, I got a picture because I am Connerton and I will.
I got a call that day. I think I was working on the farm or something, and I got a call from Connor. I hadn't been home 10 minutes. He was like, dude, I was like, what? Like, he sounded freaked out. I was like, what? He was like, I don't know if whatever was going through my brain at the time's just now running off or what, but he was like, I think it's kind of starting to set in that I just caught a bag of used tampons while we were fishing. And I said, what? Like I was like I was tired.
Buddy, I
Didn't
think you skipped a couple steps there.
I-
Back it up.
I was like,
See,
hold
let's
up,
just-
hold up, just a minute. I'm gonna need you to take this like half a marathon back real quick.
That's just like a bit how my life is, though. It's never, oh, you skipped a few steps in that story. It's just,
No,
that's just a Connor Tennant story. Or
yeah, I was about to say that's par for the course.
Usually just escalates like out of nowhere, either downward or upward or anywhere.
Yeah, it's-
up or down, back and forth. Who knows?
It's either you got strapped to a rocket ship and now you're going to outer space, or you just jumped off the Grand Canyon. There's no in between.
No.
I mean,
It's so funny to me how history repeats itself because y'all were on a lot of my friend group from college, from high school.
Oh yeah.
yeah. Who was your
History
friend group
does.
from high school? Who's all in it?
We had a big group.
Justice York was in there.
He was, but he was 2 years younger.
2 years young. So it was 2 years. So
Yeah,
it's
Justice was
Christian 2 years
Christian's
younger?
best friend. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
So they're the
my
younger
group
guys.
was Jaden McKinley,
Yep.
Brady Murdoch,
Oh
Yeah.
Lord.
Yeah, Christian was good buddies with Brady.
yep, Cody Freeman,
Mm-hmm.
Gus Wallace, Kanan Denton, Leah Tangerstrom, Veronica Rhodes.
That's a crowd and a half.
CJ Flynn,
Oh.
You
Marvin
ain't
Byler.
done yet.
I'm telling you, we had a crew.
That's
see,
a crew, all
see,
right.
that's like polar opposite of us, because like y'all had a group of what, probably 10 people or so,
10 to 15.
10 to
Was about
15.
our-
There's,
This is our crew.
I was about to say, there's the
Dude,
three of us,
You're
and
looking
then
at the trio, man.
Occasionally
and then-
is Tristan and.
yeah, I was about to say we may have a tag along here and there, but
Yeah.
like
Now every Saturday we got tag along, and golly, next Saturday,
who's
from
next
whenever
Saturday?
this comes out,
Oh.
we have a lot of tag alongs on this one.
Oh yeah, episode 3. There's 6 of us in total.
Yeah, episode 3 is a little wild. You're gonna have to
We
see that.
we were packed in. We were packed in, to say the least.
Oh yeah.
Took a darker turn than what I thought it was, but
Yeah,
that's just
yeah.
that's for the surprise of the audience, man.
It hit the fan quick.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, quick.
surprise for the audience, and
Right off the bat, I called somebody out. It was within the first 4 minutes.
who got called out?
Whenever I called Jax out.
Oh yeah. Yeah, but without speaking on that,
Yeah,
so-
that one's gonna be an episode for sure.
On next week's episode of the Prairie County Podcast.
So
That
you're
is
the,
basically
it.
you got an
Yeah.
undergrad at Bethel. Where else did you go to college?
I got my graduate degree at Union.
At Union.
Union. All right.
So your major is financing. Then.
No. There's a difference between a finance degree and accounting.
Okay.
There's a joke that runs in the accounting field that you take finance when you can't handle accounting.
okay,
Mm-hmm.
okay. Hey,
That's probably going to take a couple shots at some people in finance. But
Oh well, that don't matter. But
if you are in finance, Luke Cagle just does not like you.
he said you suck at your job and you should have just manned up and been an accountant.
I didn't say you
That's
suck.
basically what
I
I
didn't say
heard.
that.
That's exactly what I
But-
heard.
We're not
That's
putting
exactly
any
what I
words in
heard.
his
mouth.
Luke, you
How
gotta
boring.
remember. You gotta remember. This is the internet. Everybody's gonna interpret that differently.
Yes.
How boring is studying accounting for however many years that took? So like, you got a master's, right? So
That's 6 years.
how boring, man.
Mine only took 5.
5. Well, yeah.
With my undergrad and master's degree in total, it was 5 years.
Yeah.
5 years. That's not bad.
No.
Not bad for a master's. I mean,
No, I'm sorry, but 5 years for me is a long time.
That
Like
is a
I
long-
I
yeah.
can't sit in the classroom for 5
But you gotta
years.
think 5 years just really ain't that much compared
No.
to your full lifespan.
I was about to say, in the grand scheme of things, 5 years isn't that much.
For 4 years, I say college is so much more than just
In a classroom.
in a classroom.
yeah.
You can make it just in a classroom,
Yeah.
and you will be bored to death. But I joined clubs. I had
Were you a frat boy, Luke?
no.
Not at all.
I'm
Just
just
thought
saying,
I'd ask.
at Bethel, there's no frats. It's just,
No, they were frats.
oh, there are frats there?
Yeah.
I just knew there's a lot of, like, house parties that get thrown off to the side that's not associated with anything.
Okay, so at Bethel is very much like if you're in your own sect, you're in your own sect.
Yeah.
And you don't cross-pollinate unless you, like, have a class together or something of that sort.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you walk in that lunchroom, you can pick out, there's the theater kids, there's the Renaissance kids, there's the football team, there's the basketball team, there's the volleyball team, there's the fishing team, archery. Like, everyone is in their own little bubble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, is that just social cliques, or is that how they do it? Like, you have to stay with that group?
No, it's not forced.
It's
It's just
social
bubbles.
cliques.
Yeah.
Oh.
You spend,
Well, you can kind of do the same thing at our high school.
Well,
If you want me to be honest, our high school is so divided, it is unreal.
Oh, it's crazy.
It's just a shame I'm only there one class right now.
Yeah, me too.
Well, look, I'm just saying, technically I'm there from 7:45 till 1:25 every day since I got work-based learning. But I'm on the 400 hallway for 3 of my 4 classes.
Yeah, he might as well not even be at school either.
I'm not. I stay in a shop 3/4 of my day.
Well, if that shop's anywhere near as cold as this shop is right now, then I pray for your soul.
No, because you know how they did the...
Yeah, they got heating and cooling in
Yeah, but Cindy is not a fan of hot.
there. No, me neither. But sometimes it's just too cold.
Sometimes.
So
yeah,
it stays about like it is in here right now,
Sometimes Cindy freezes me out.
which means I go into the kitchen. I go, like, what used to be her classroom.
see, we used to just change it.
Oh, see, I change it because I know I can get away with it, but, like, I don't technically have her till second block. Whenever I go in there during second block, which is like our skinny block, she's got it cold as all get
She's
out.
already got the AC pumping.
Yeah, she's had the AC pumping for an hour and 15 minutes at that point. So
Speaking of those air conditioning units, brand new, whatever, brought them in with a helicopter.
yeah, brought him in with a helicopter.
You know that front part of the
Yeah, they
you
knocked
know
it
this.
off
Yeah,
with
they
the
knocked it off.
helicopter. I asked Blake, our principal or whatever, I asked him if, I asked him about it missing. He said, yeah, it's laying in the front of the school. This was before school started back. He was like, yeah, we got to figure out what to do with it. It's just laying in the lobby of the school right now. We just moved it in out of the weather. So who knows where that's stuffed away? It's probably in some janitor closet just waiting.
For
Open
some
up the
poor
closet,
soul to
and
open
it just
the door
shoots out
and
like
it
one of the
smells-
mattresses stuffed in
Yeah,
I'd say Tony Taylor probably has it somewhere.
more than
Probably has it hid
likely.
up somewhere.
More than likely.
Have you ever seen Tony's remote control lawnmower?
Crazy.
That is wacky. I was working at Village, and we had the back door open because it was hot. Like, we had it cracked, and I went to go throw boxes away. There's Tony standing out in the bus yard, and he's driving this lawnmower with a big remote control.
Ain't no way.
That's wild.
I don't know. There's something about mowing lawns that's just soothing to me. Maybe it's because...
therapeutic.
Yeah, I was
Very
about
much
to say,
so.
maybe it's because I talk to absolutely nobody for however long it takes me to mow.
I've got to have music in my ear. While
Oh,
I'm mowing.
I put music. I
Because
turn
if
my
I'm not-
music all the way up.
I will be sitting in my head
I've got
and talking to myself.
a hat and
Gotta have the
sunglasses
music,
on.
yeah.
Most time I throw my hood up,
That's just
and
the
I'm
look,
just cruising. You know,
Okay.
it's the whole time.
So, my dad is very particular about his yard, but I weed eat because he can't physically walk the yard like I can.
Yeah.
Well, when you get to the base of our hill, you can't get the Wi-Fi from the house, and we sit in a dead zone for
yeah.
cell service, so there's like no internet. So for like that first hour that you sit there weed eat in the first part of the yard, you might have a little carryover from where you like loaded in a song up top.
You can probably finish out the one you listened to, maybe get the next one.
And then it stops. And of course, you don't notice it because it's background noise. I don't know why, but every time Pandora turns on another song, it's got some sort of like horn intro or like someone smashed the keyboard. Because I will sit there. I work my way in a pattern every time. And every time I get to this one spot, it picks up just enough of the Wi-Fi from the house
Brand new song.
to turn something back on, and it's always like Money and Fame, Need to Breathe, and it's like,
Yeah. And you're just like,
Oh, goodness.
whoa, wait a minute. Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
which when you hear it, you're expected like gunshot, like.
Yeah.
I'll just be sitting there weed eating and just pop.
Just hit
Drop
the
the
deck.
weed eater up, put your hands behind your head.
If I ever pull up and you just stop, drop, and roll, I know why.
I'm going to be driving down towards Rones Creek, look over, Luke's going to be sitting in that ditch, and the weed eater's going to be running next to him. I'm going to
He's
know what's
just going
going
to be in
on.
the fetal position over there.
No, it's right there. You know where the mimosa tree is?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's right there. Anytime I get to that spot, it always turns on.
Oh, that's
Now, when you
tough.
weed eat, do you have to go around on them ponds?
Oh,
Dude, I'd fall in them. There's no
yeah.
way
I'd probably go
I'll
for a swim.
accidentally fall in them.
Oh,
wouldn't be no
it's
accident.
great when you get a real high batch, running into snakes and frogs, and I've decapitated a couple of frogs.
Oh no! not
I'll
the
tell you
frogs.
what, whenever we got let out for the virus back in 2020,
The virus.
The virus.
I don't know if that's still a touchy subject on the internet or not,
Let's talk about it.
but
All right. I'm down.
I worked for a guy headed down 100 going towards Centerville, and he's got 2 big fields out in front of his shop where he's got everything set up. It's a metal fabrication shop, you know, and he's got a pond. He's got it stocked with fish and stuff. There's one lone survivor of the dozen ducks and some geese they bought. His name is Bert. Poor old Bert. He's a lone survivor. He has no friends no more. But I had to mow and weed eat every bit of it, and it would take all day to mow and weed eat because I was working 8-hour shifts. It would work. It took me. I would get there at 7 and I wouldn't stop until 3 when we left. Like. Skipping lunch, everything. It was just 8 hours straight of mowing and weed eating. And the first big field, it was no problem. You know, it's just mow the whole thing. There's no weed eating to it or nothing. Same, the other one, it's not as big. You can mow 97% of it, and you just got to weed eat around some trailers and stuff.
Nah, not me.
And then after that, there is no mower. You have to weed eat everything else. And their shop is 250 yards long, and there's just a bunch of junk piled up behind it that you got to go through and weed eat.
Weed eat around every little thing. It's so tedious.
And you got to weed eat the bank on
Very,
the
very
pond. One of the banks sits at like a 45, not even a 45. It sits at like a 27-degree angle. Like it's nearly straight up and down.
You know, most of the time whenever you're doing a bank, you want to weed eat a lot, so whenever you mow, you don't have to risk falling off into the river. I went and weed eated for Ty one day, and he was like, yeah, just make sure you get this bank. I'm getting the bank, and I'm doing it on this one side. I'm weed eating probably about 5 feet away from the bank, like before they curve even. Like I'm just making sure he's good, he's safe. I turn around, and Ty's got one wheel hanging off of the bank, and he is mowing all of it. And there's just like this little tiny line that I'm supposed to weed eat. And he stopped and he was like, hey, buddy, all you got to do is weed eat that. And I was like,
I was just
literally,
trying to
I'm
help you
telling
out, but
there wasn't a point of time that both wheels were on the bank. He literally had one of them wheels from that zero turn. It was just spinning in the air while he was just riding the side. And I thought he was about to fall off into the river. I guess, you know, he'd done that in the yard a lot. He figured out some cheats, you know.
You seen
I
that
was about to say, you do it enough, you find quick ways to do it. But
You see
hey, you're
that-
talking about finding
that hill in front of my house?
oh yeah.
You seen that? My dad won't off road to dad over there on that hill. So somebody's got to weed eat that. It ain't fixing to be him. So you know, I get out through there.
You get the old shaft on that one.
Yeah, I do. And man,
Weed eat
that-
your shaft.
we got them little electric
The
weed eaters
rotating
now. We had them gas ones. We got electric ones now. First time I went to use that thing, it wrapped up in the grass. Electric weed eater wrapped up in the grass, and I went flying down into the road. It's not very convenient.
See, I'd rather deal with just a big hill like that.
Yeah.
Oh,
we-
I don't know, man.
We have this embankment on the side of our house, right behind the barn,
Yeah.
that the weeder has just enough range to sit there and do this. So either you can sit there at the base of it and go, you get you a killer shoulder workout doing that.
Yeah.
Oh, I can
I
imagine.
bet.
But keep in mind that's only the first hour out of 3 that you're sitting there holding a weed eater
Yeah.
in your hand for that entire time.
Trust me.
So you don't want to sit there and be sitting.
I understand that.
Oh, the camp has many stories.
The only other way that you can do that, because this hill is not that high, you set one foot on the bank and you set the other foot on the ground, so you're sitting here like this and just walking it.
Walking it the whole way, back and forth.
You've been down to Camp Linden, right?
Oh.
You know the Whippoorwill Hill. It's the one behind the worship center.
That often.
Okay, well there's this hill.
Like this right here.
This hill is probably about half a mile long.
Yeah, it's a pretty big spot.
And it goes up. I couldn't tell you how high. It's a lot.
Probably
You
top
have
of
to
the
weed
shop,
eat
huh?
every little bit of it. No, it's taller than the shop.
It's pretty big.
It takes so long to do.
See,
and we mastered it this summer for some.
I'd rather
somehow.
have that.
Somehow we got it done in 30 minutes one day. It usually takes like 3 hours. And we got every bit done, and for some reason they complimented us more than they ever had complimented us before. And I mean, honestly, if you want to know what it was, me, Andy Lytle, and I don't know if you know him, but Malachi Kelly, we stood next to each other. We knew the width of our weed eater swings. We stood there and we walked forward at an angle, turned around, did the exact same thing on the other side, and then we did it on the other side. Because, I'd been doing it for years. I was like, this is a tactic I've always wanted to try, but when I do it, it's always just me, and I cut an outline, and I do it from the outline. Yeah, we wiped it out in 30 minutes. And I don't know if you know him, but Josh Strickland, he's a year older than me. He come down there and worked with us at camp. This one day, we had to weed eat Whippoorwill, which is the hill, and for some reason, it was pouring rain, and they still wanted us to weed eat it. So we were out there in the pouring rain, and they wanted me to try out this. It was like a push weed eater, like a push mower, but it had weed eater string on it. Mm-hmm. So here I am trying to roll this thing side to side. It's not working. I'm trying to roll it up and down. It's raining, and the grass ain't cutting. Here comes a little copperhead right up behind me, and Josh just kills it with the weed eater. And then we run over it with the push thing, whatever. We were just messing around with it. Because it's pouring rain. We was annoyed. Josh cut its head off because we didn't want to pick it up with it. We didn't know if it was dead or not. We just beat it with a weed eater. Josh cut its head off, and we began to just throw it across camp until we got to the maintenance manager who had us doing that. It's van, and we tucked it where its head was missing around his wheel and just set the thing out so it looked like there was a snake. We see him driving around later while we're still weed eating in the pouring rain. 'Cause it rained all day. And he's got this snake on his hood. He picked it up and just put it on his hood, drove around with it the rest of the day.
It was dead, so
Yeah.
I was scared of real
no
good.
harm, no foul.
I thought it was a bit strange. We also used to, every time there'd be a dead squirrel, we'd pick him up and we'd put him on a side rail of his personal truck. My brother started that, and then I carried it on for however many years that I just kept doing it. Yeah.
Did you leave that legacy behind?
Yeah, Tristan knows to do it. But this one time Daniel was already gone. It was me and Andy, and we was on the tractor. We took some brush to the burn pile. We're coming back to see a dead squirrel, so I stop. I pick it up, and I'm like, Andy, we've got to have a funeral for it. I actually have a video of us throwing it in the river. Andy's holding a stick, and he's acting like he's playing the flute, and he's just humming Amazing Grace, and you can just see the squirrel floating off into the river because it was flooded. Like the river was really running fast, and then the squirrel just hits the water, pops back up, and goes.
Wipe that squirrel out, man.
Hey, we were
So
just
how old
showing
are
our
you,
respect.
Luke? 26, 27?
25.
25
You're right.
and you've
Okay.
got a
Wait.
house.
Yes, 25.
You're a
I think about that
25-year-old.
sometimes.
So, Luke, can you tell me how successful are you now compared to like where you thought you'd be when you were our
So
age?
you're born 97, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Like in terms of where you are now, like you've got your house, you're almost done moving into it. How successful are you now compared to where you thought you would be when you were like our age?
I think it's sort of relative to sort of the events that have occurred in my life up to this point. Mm-hmm. Like, I have been insanely lucky in terms of some of the chips that have fallen into place.
Yeah.
First off, my entire college education was completely paid for.
Yeah.
Not by like, well, my parents paid for it. Yada,
Yeah,
yada,
like-
yada, yada.
Like you
No.
free ride from the
My
school
undergraduate was paid for
because
I maintained a 3.7 GPA through 4 years of college, despite some questionable teaching and questionable grading on their point. But that's another topic.
That's a topic for another day.
I maintained a 37 GPA all throughout my 4 years of college and kept that full ride scholarship.
Yeah.
I blazed through my graduate degree because I knew I had 1 year of fully paid for college tuition money.
Yeah.
That my parents saved up for me. So I blazed through graduate school, got out in 1 year, entered into the workforce. Got a really well-paying job with the hospital over here. That's a whole nother topic.
Talking about the hospital or the medical center?
The
He's
hospital.
talking about the hospital.
Yeah.
Before it was
Yeah.
just a building.
Yeah. Left there under some bad terms.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
Was it like you had to leave because of the events that were occurring, or
It was I quit.
oh,
So you knew it was coming and you just bailed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Smart.
I was about to say in that situation, there's not very many
There's no-
options, so you have
No.
to take what's going to be best.
There's
for
no
you.
point in riding a sunken ship when you see a perfectly good rock to land on.
Well, it wasn't really the sinking ship. It was more the captain.
Was sinking the
Captain-
Well,
ship.
you knew the captain was going to sink the ship though, so you just
I was
jumped
about to
off on
say
the
that.
island.
Well, the captain was throwing off the lifeboats to save one for himself, and then
I was about to say in that situation right there, you have to do what's best for yourself instead
Yeah.
of.
You can't. I mean, you
Yeah.
can't just. If you know what's going to happen.
Young man establishing a career, you got to do what's best for you.
So
You got to hustle.
I left there in November of 2020.
Mm-hmm.
Was unemployed from November to December, just because holiday months. No one's really hiring at this point.
Yeah, so this has been 2 years ago now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'll kick up the job search in January. I've got enough money saved up right now
You
to
fall
last
back on.
myself for a sizable time, especially on how little I spend on anything. I was like, I have enough cash to hold me over until then,
Yeah.
and then from there, I'm like, I've got a decent enough resume currently to land a solid job.
Yeah, you know what
Yeah.
you're worth, and you got
I was
like a
about to
good.
say you can
good place to
prove
go
that
into.
you've done it before in an actual workforce setting.
Well, I get an awesome job with an awesome group of people over in Parsons, Tennessee, working with Amy Baucom and her tax service. Worked there for a year, just happy as a lark. Not making a whole lot, but after the situation I just gotten out of, I wasn't worried about making a lot of money. I was more worried about the atmosphere and the people
Yeah.
I worked with
Yeah.
Yep.
and that sort of deal.
Yeah.
Well, come around to January of this year, there starts to be rumors that Blake Dill's leaving the medical center.
Yeah.
Good paying job, benefits. Had a couple board members come to my parents and grandfather and myself, said, "Hey, you should apply for this." And I'm like, originally I was like, I think I'm good. Like, I don't want to touch the medical field again. I've been there before.
It can go south quick.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't that. I got really burned by that first boss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
I
was
mean,
about to
understand
say-
being gun shy.
And
Yeah.
I wouldn't really call it gun shy. It was just a case of been there, done that.
Yeah.
Don't want
Don't do it again.
Why
I was
would
about to
you?
say you were 23 at the time. 22, 23.
You're old enough
23
to-
going on 24.
Yeah,
so you're old
23
enough
going
at
on.
this point to know better.
Yeah,
Like,
I
don't-
like at that time you were. So whenever you got like the whole situation with the hospital, you were like 22, 23, somewhere around there.
I was fresh out
Yeah.
of
college.
college.
Like at that time, your mindset, like the mindset of anybody at that age, you're still a kid in the mindset for the most part. I mean, you're going to get, especially with something like that happening right off the bat, first job, you know,
That's just tough.
that
It's
one.
obviously going to affect a lot of your
Well,
decisions.
of
Yeah.
course, that was also right smack down in the middle of COVID.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
that was right in the middle of Miss
Election
Leah's
time?
Miss Leah's incident with COVID
Oh,
and
yeah.
her whole ordeal. She was one of the people who was instrumental in me getting that job in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
So that was rough. But I kept getting people coming to me saying, hey, you should really apply for this. We think you have a shot at it.
Yeah.
We think you'll do fine at it. Talked it over with a couple other people that I trusted who knew what had happened at the hospital.
Yep.
And I'm just like, here are my reservations. Here's where my thought process is. And
Looking for guidance.
yeah, because when you run into a situation like that, it's good to have people that you know.
You can go to and just be like, hey, this is kind of what's going on right now. Just shoot me in a direction.
And they encourage me. I said, give it a shot. Go in for the interview. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. You're fine. Well, I go in there, get a phone call at work, just like, hey, we'd like to offer you the position. And I'm like, oh crap.
Oh.
Now I have to make a decision.
Yeah.
And
And
you're
like-
still 20. You're 24
It was
at the
20.
time.
I was 24.
Yeah.
It was coming around. My final day at Amy's was January 13th.
Mm-hmm. So about a year to the day after you started.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I walk in their office and I said, hey, so you know that day I asked off the other day where I was 2 hours late? I said, yeah, that was for a job interview. And that hurt to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It felt kind of like, hey, I'm cheating on you behind your back.
Yeah. You're breaking up with this girlfriend that you love, you know.
Dang.
Like, don't get me wrong, I love you and all, but I found somebody better.
Which it was the same way almost for me, like leaving camp, going to village whenever I did. Which I mean, in the end, I went back to camp before I left there. But
Yeah.
leaving, the idea of me leaving my first job that I really knew, just working at camp, good experience. I would suggest it to any 14-year-old kid. But it was like I was breaking up with a girlfriend and going to another one because I was working at Village. I went down there and told them when I started working at Village, and that was the whole thing or whatever. And then I ended up making more money at Village. I was having more fun, and I was just like,
See,
That's tough.
but this
That's really
didn't
tough.
feel like the first time I left
yeah,
a job for another job. When I left the hardware store, I'd worked there since I was 16.
yeah,
And I was 21 at the time I left.
yeah.
So I knew everyone that came in that door.
You knew all the customers. You knew all the people who worked there.
I
Oh,
knew
yeah. I've been there
short
for.
codes.
It's.
There were certain people in there who had gotten so comfortable to me being there that they asked for me specifically to be like, hey, I need to find where this is.
I asked for Andrew every time.
Well, these are grown adults asking
Yeah.
for an 18-year-old.
There's
Yeah.
a few guys who
Hey.
do that for me.
I don't
Not
ask
me,
where he
they're
is. I just go find Andrew. I'm like, hey,
Yeah.
I need this and this.
But
and
also
this.
keep in mind, this was peak Scott time.
This- I mean, it's
Scott was
still-
there.
Oh, yeah.
Scott's not there all the time now. He's still there a lot. And still a lot of people ask for Scott. Scott's the guy.
Yeah.
Well,
When Scott's not there, they're asking for me, or they're asking for Dan or my dad. I've only been there. I've been there 3 years, maybe 3.5. Oh my gosh.
Well, that first time that someone said, "Hey, is Scott there?" Well, he's a little busy. Well, give me Luke. That was just like,
Yeah. Yeah. Give me
Huh?
a look.
Well, give me Luke.
Man,
I
it's
mean,
crazy.
I'll take being a second place to Scott, you know?
I don't see
Hey.
very many people that I
That ought to
don't
be a
know.
compliment.
I don't see very many people that don't know me. They coming in the door. What's up, man? You know how it is.
Yeah.
There's not much I don't know how to do in that store.
Yeah.
So you're working at the medical center still to this day.
Yep.
Glad you switched.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
You like the environment over there?
Love the people. Love
That's
the people.
good.
And
some phenomenal people.
you got like a
over
5-minute commute now.
there. 5-minute
Yeah.
commute. I got
That's-
over there just as gas prices started to rise,
Yeah, that's the best time.
Yeah.
and that was really one of the big
Yeah.
like
You want to know my?
things. It's like, okay, I can either go from having a 30-minute drive there and back to a 10-minute drive there and back, making double what I'm making currently
See,
with benefits.
Yeah, where you were without benefits.
uh,
And see, that's
that's a
keep in mind,
big
I was
part.
24.
yeah.
Benefits is such a big part.
I was about to say, like, a lot of people our age don't think about that. They think, oh, I want the cold hard cash in my account, And
Well,
then,
at your age, you don't have to.
yeah,
But like I said,
No, but once we
I
get
had-
out of high school,
I
you
was
got to
like-
establish those things.
yeah, like,
I was 2 months out of 25.
Mm-hmm.
And 26
Is
is
knocking
that
on the door.
boot out the door,
Yeah.
you need to fend for yourself situation.
yeah.
Yeah, I started dating a girl in Parsons as soon as wild gas prices were at the highest they've ever been.
While they were
that I've
rising
ever
still.
that I've ever seen in my lifetime. I know they've been higher, obviously.
No,
They-
but
No, they've never been
Really?
higher than what they got last
okay.
year.
Well, let me tell you, $4 and some odd cents a gallon was just not it for a boy who was working at Linden Valley in the off season, making only $9.06 an hour, and I wasn't getting that many hours. Whew. Yeah, there was weeks, like, because you get paid bi-weekly down there. There was weeks where I was sitting at about $2 or so in my bank account
Oh yeah.
and having to fend off the rest of the week until that Thursday. Not some times that I missed, but times that I feel like were important to me.
I was about to say, I mean,
I feel like I learned so much last year. And last year I thought I was like, oh, I've already learned everything I need to know.
no.
Oh, trust me, you ain't learned nothing yet.
The beginning of 2022, from January 1st to now, it's November 13th.
All three of us, like a train, just been slung around.
It's
I've learned
like,
so much this year.
and I'll tell you what.
If you ever stop learning, there's something wrong.
Oh yeah, and I seen this thing a while back. It was a quote. It said, "If you're the smartest person in the room, then you're where you shouldn't be in life,
Yeah.
because there's always something there,
Yep.
There's always something. Yeah, always something you can learn. And I'm young. These guys are young. We've got the opportunities. Why not go there?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen some stupid things because I've done some stupid things, but at the same time, I've learned some of the best life lessons
We
from my
are
own
Perry
mistakes.
Countyans. Boom, 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 boom.
There's another quote I want you to know here.
Yeah,
If you find yourself on the mountaintop, look back and help someone else up.
yeah.
I feel like that's how we operate.
Yeah, I was about to
That's how
say
we
because
roll.
there'll be times where and
Well,
me and you said something about it earlier.
I don't even speak to that as like your peer
Yeah,
type deal.
No.
yeah,
Just anybody.
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 Well,
But, like,
for instance,
it's
Connor
my
took him
case with y'all.
Tristan.
Yeah, I raised Tristan. Like, I took him in.
pretty much
He's
did.
raised him for like the last year.
Like, he might as well be like my son. I've taught him. When I first met Tristan, he was he was younger, obviously. But, like, if somebody said something to him, he kind of backed down, He didn't really stand his ground, and, like,
Connor's always
Now-
been bigger, never had to worry about standing his own ground because
Now,
no one walks up to him.
anytime anybody tries to put Tristan down, this kid comes back with something. Like, he was arguing this summer with somebody that, like, usually when somebody argues with Tristan back forever ago, he just let it happen. Like, I don't really argue anymore because, like, I don't see the point in it.
No.
Personally, I think conflict is just stupid now. Like,
Yeah,
I've
there's-
been on every side of conflict, whatever. Like, I just think it's pointless now.
Yeah.
But Tristan, like, he stands his ground now, and like, you can see the personality, like the similarities.
change.
Like, there's changes.
Oh, he
There's
changed,
still
for
some
sure.
things that he does that I don't find like so smart. But that's just
Growth.
that's his
It is a
relationship situation.
good
But
growth.
you can't really touch a man's point on that. Really, it has to happen to him. That's what had happened to me.
It's growth.
But
Yes.
So you've got a house.
Yep.
You've got your own place now. Just finished it. We just moved him in today. I mean, He's
And,
not done yet. He's still
all three of
moving.
us has helped in the process of getting your house up.
Oh, yeah.
Trenton planted the
I want
seeds.
you to look at the grass on that yard. I tell
Hey,
you what,
looking good, buddy.
I felt like an old man earlier. I drove by slow, and I was sitting there looking at the grass. I was like, huh,
That's some good-looking
that's
grass.
some good looking
It
grass.
really
See, there for a long time, like, we would go up there and, like, you just see, like, little tiny spurts of grass. And it's like,
Yeah.
it's growing. It's growing.
It's
there.
it's a little bit.
It's like when you're a teenager and you get, like, that one hair on your chin.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
like, it's there.
It's
got
there.
it.
I'm telling you,
Well, now I
it's
just
there.
can't keep it off of my face.
Which see,
Yeah.
like the problem is both of y'all grow facial hair. Both of y'all are dark haired, darker complected. Like everything shows up good. I hate
you're
to break it.
shafted.
I hate to break it to you. I'm the same color as this Sonic cup.
Oh, yeah.
If I'm not in the sun 24/7, which
gotta
thank
break it
God
down.
over the summer I was. But my hair is whiter than this Sonic cup. It's about like the lid. It's see through from how white it is. There are no dark hairs on my face. And see, my problem is I've never shaved my face with a normal razor. The only time I've shaved like 3 times in my life, every one of them's been with a straight razor.
I'd rather shave with a straight razor.
And
but
I
I'd
don't
probably
know
end up
why.
cutting
I don't know
myself
why.
open.
I just found a random straight razor one day. Like it was like I was just like, oh, this is cool. And then it was like 2 months after that, my granddad was aggravating me because there was like 3 or 4 like long white curly hairs that you could see if the sun hit them just right.
You know, I have no idea what that barber in Louisville did to me, but the first time I went to him, he shaved my face with a straight razor. Or no, he shaved it, and like there's no hair there whatsoever. Ever since then, Luke, I can't keep hair off of my face.
No, I'm telling you, there's something different about a straight razor.
He put something in my skin.
It does something different. A
He
straight razor
awoke
does
my
not
tenon
shave
jeans
like a normal razor.
because I can't keep it away. Like I shave the next day, I'm having stubble.
Yep.
It's like if I really want to stay clean shaved, just gotta stay on top. It's November right now. I shaved a week ago, and this is where I'm at.
I was about to say you shaved for the wedding.
This was yesterday. See, I like it at this point.
Yeah,
I
it's
just
I
like-
having a little stubble.
yeah, a little bit, not too much.
But my problem is, first off, I'm half Pakistani, half Korean. When it comes to beard growth, those two don't mix well together. Pakistani people, luxurious. They're long,
Yeah.
they grow well.
Thick, dark.
They're thick.
Koreans.
They're not spotty. Name one time you've ever seen an Asian person with a beard.
I've never seen an Asian person with a beard.
That
No.
wasn't a Fu Manchu.
There wasn't a
Like,
few
what,
things.
wasn't one of those just like wispy.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will say I have seen, and that's I forget what the name of that show was. It was based in the '90s. The dad from there, he plays in
Hold
like all
up a
these different movies.
But I'm not talking like one of those that just is like here.
Oh, like a
Like
full beard.
You see here. I'm
Yeah.
talking like it connects from.
Oh
the
no,
ears.
never. I've seen goatees on Asian, but I've never seen a full
no,
beard.
I can tell you, a full-blooded Korean that has a beard, Markiplier.
That's true.
His dad and his mom are both Korean.
But his is spotty.
I mean, just
It's
a
still
hair,
a beard,
but still,
though.
But if you look at his videos, his beard is spotty.
yeah.
Yeah, but it's still a beard. You gotta acknowledge it.
At the end of the day, that is
I
still
mean,
a
mine
beard.
goes in that way, but I've got a streak right here where absolutely no hair grows, and it's not like it's something where like I could shape it to where it looks good some way. It's
No,
just
it's
like
just-
It's just tough.
here.
That's just tough. That's just-
It's like
It's
there's
just on the other
nothing.
side, or is it just that one side?
It's just here. Like I connect. If you were to like cut my head off right here and just let this grow,
It'd be a.
this would look phenomenal. Like it connects, it flows well. This side, it connects to about right here, and then just stops. It's like I have like the River Nile running from right here
Oh my
up my
gosh.
chin.
you got the diversity. You got Pakistan
no.
on one
The
side,
River
Korea on the
Nile.
other.
Yeah, you
I
got-
like
you
that.
got-
The River Nile.
You got Pakistan, and then you just got that streak of Korean right there.
Oh yeah, there it is.
Like-
That's what you want.
Like
No.
a scar or something was right there.
Speaking of,
yeah,
you're
Bear got you right there.
you're like,
I've always wondered if I like rub the hair follicles off somehow
Yeah.
that way.
No, I will tell you what. I've drank a Route 44 sweet tea, and sweet tea runs through me
Go pee,
like,
buddy.
like a Russian river. I'll be
Alright.
back in just a second.
so speaking of like your ethnicity or whatever, so Miss Ginger and them, they adopted you, right?
Yep.
Do you remember anything like before? Like when did they adopt you?
I was 9 months old.
9 months.
Really?
So,
So how did that?
were you
how does
born
that
in
happen?
America or were you born over?
I was born in Seoul, South Korea.
Okay.
So how's that work? Like the adoption? I have no idea.
Me
Like the
neither.
adoption
I don't know
system.
how that works.
I don't know the full process because we've never really sat down and talked about it. But from what I've gathered, parents put in papers saying like, "Hey, we're looking to adopt," and when you do that, you get put into a system. Like they run background checks on you. They
Yep. They run all their stuff on you.
I forget what it's called. They do like a house check, like to make sure that you have a house. First off, they're not just going to send any kid to.
Did they by chance get lost in Miss Ginger's house like I did?
This was actually before they lived there.
Yeah.
They built that current house in '97, the year I was born.
Oh.
They were up on Fire Tower where I am now.
Oh.
But they run through that. They have to go through all kinds of like background checks, financial checks, wellness checks, family checks. Like they check you, they check your spouse, they check your family members.
Everything.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
They want
Which,
to
I
make
mean,
sure that
you
you're
gotta
not-
be
that
careful
you're
with
not
that
being
stuff.
thrown into some sort of
Right.
And that was back in
the 90s. I
like
mean,
the 90s. I can only imagine how bad it is now. Like how many
it's-
things they have to
it's
do
gotta be
because
stressed.
of all the trafficking
Well,
and all that.
and everything's so different too with each individual country.
Yeah.
So, one of my good friends of mine who I went to school with, Whitley Dill, y'all know Miss Anita.
Yeah.
yes.
They put in their papers for an adoption at the same time my parents did. They got Whitley the same time my parents got Lydia.
So you and Lydia, what's the age difference? Are y'all
15, 16 months?
Really close.
and y'all are blood?
Nope.
No, really.
Nope.
Y'all aren't blood. Okay. Were y'all
See,
from
I
the
always
same
thought
part
y'all
of
were.
Korea though?
Yes.
From the same part, just not related technically.
Nope.
Yeah, but with like the adoption system, all that, would you say it's like any different? It's like, I mean, you know, that's your mom and dad, obviously. I'm sure you don't see them any different as I see my mom and dad. Like,
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you. There were times when I was younger that like I would see myself in a photograph and be like, who's the dark kid
that's funny.
in this
Who's the-
picture? They'd be like, oh,
Oh man.
okay.
That's actually really
Who's the
funny.
imposter? Man.
You know, I always thought you and Lydia were
Nope.
brother and sister, like
No
blood
relation
or
there.
whatever.
So you said your parents lived up there before you did. So is it like cool to them to go up to them like, this is my hill now? You're in the
Yeah,
valley?
like you
Well,
you captured the hill.
Yeah.
I've seen their house, and it's like right down the road from where I'm at currently. So
This
Yeah.
is my hill now. Get off.
Well, see, like,
Now you
alright,
gotta
so
stop
say
tripping.
you,
we have
say
a,
you-
we have a running joke in the family because that hill, we call it the weaning hill,
Oh.
which is like you sort of wean off.
from everybody by moving up on that hill.
Yeah, because mom and dad moved up there before they built their place.
Yeah.
Aunt Sherry and Uncle Jackie moved up there before they bought their place. Now I'm up there, so
So when are you gonna build another place, Luke? Is it coming here in a couple of years?
I'm no.
That's a beautiful house you got out there. It's not big, but it's very
It's everything I need.
very good looking house.
Yeah, it's a very nice house too. I mean, I love the way the new metal houses look and
Yeah.
stuff, and they're cheaper now, right? That's
yeah.
the cheapest
yeah.
option to
I
go
was
with.
about to say, as of right now, those.
And who says you need a new big old fancy house anyway?
I mean, that is a
Well,
fancy house.
When
it is fancy, yeah.
when we
Best crawl space I've ever seen.
I'll let y'all in on a little bit of behind the scenes of what all went on during that whole house search deal. So, starting back last year, while I was still with Amy, I had saved up a sizable amount, enough to put down a pretty decent
down
down payment on a house. So I go in there. I'm like, hey, talk to David, talk to Mark Mathis, David Richardson.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, I'm in the market for a house. Let me know if you know of anybody that's about to put one up. I'd like to have a look at it. Around that time, houses were going for about 60, 70, 80 to 100,000.
It's crazy.
100 was like the top.
Yeah.
Was like you have a fully furnished 5-6 acres of land, yada yada yada.
Yeah.
Like that was the market rate for lending.
Yeah, I mean, houses were at that time were honestly cheap.
Yeah.
And for me, that was fine. Like,
Yeah.
I had a good down payment for that. There were some cases that I could have paid it off in full.
Yeah, like willing to borrow whatever you needed to borrow.
Just like
No,
just pay it off
Like,
completely.
Just pay it off right there.
depending on what the final price was, I could have paid it off then and there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would have been broke.
I mean,
But
You'd have been broke with a house.
hey, at least you would have been broke with a house. You got them assets.
my assets would have gone up,
Yeah,
but
you're-
my liquidity would have been down.
Yeah.
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 Shot by a rocket over there.
But
In which I'll go ahead and say this now. I mean, take assets into account. I mean, assets aren't something you just, are just
No,
like,
you
oh,
don't
hey,
sleep
it's
on
there, Like, assets are still, at the end of the day, that's an asset. Whether,
Yeah. I mean,
You
this
don't
podcast
sleep on
set
assets.
is an asset.
This is an asset.
Yeah.
To me.
there's a deal in accounting where you talk about liquidity versus assets. You can have all your money invested in assets, but if you don't have the ability to cash that stuff out,
Yeah.
yeah.
Which
and
now it's pretty
utilize it.
pretty good with like marketplace and stuff.
Yeah.
You can sell. Like if I need that lawnmower gone by like the end of this week, I could probably get it gone.
Oh, yeah, easily.
Somebody's gonna want a gold lawnmower,
Yeah, half black, half
Half
gold,
black,
half
half gold.
red.
and it's got the red steering wheel. That's what's gonna sell
It's
it.
got a
Yeah,
red
white
steering
wall
wheel.
tires
It
on
also
it.
has a
Yeah.
red arrow pointing up the front of it that I painted on there. But yeah,
That's the most decked out lawnmower I've ever seen in my life.
But we got to looking around town. I went to see a couple family friends of ours who were in the market to sell,
yeah,
and we walk in there. We're like, "Hey, this is a cool place. It needs some work done. Obviously, most places that you go in to buy, you have the idea of like, I want to fix this up. I want to do this. I want to do that." And like those, some of the places coming in at like renovations of $80,000 to $100,000.
Yeah.
On top of what you're already paying for the house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, we can do X amount at this and call it a deal. And they're like, oh yeah, well you got 40 over what you're offering us right now. And we were already over what the original asking price was before the pandemic type deal.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I just finally decided, I'm like, Powerball's got some land. I'm better off just building.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
in the grand scheme of things.
Building is the
Building
way to
that
go.
house was the best option for you. Sometimes it's not in
I'm
some
like,
situations, but
I can build this to my specs. I can put it how I want it. on the
whatever
land
you
that I
need,
want.
whatever you want,
I was about to say,
in a good spot to.
and no
like
matter
it's-
what, you're
That's a
close
good
to
spot.
home. I mean,
Yep.
Like Colton said, your mom can still tuck you in at night if she needs to.
Yeah, if she needs to.
was Colton there helping
Yeah,
everybody?
Colton was
If
there.
you get scared, you know.
Colton said some bodacious things. Trenton. He said that PlayStation was better than Xbox.
He
You know,
said
I did notice at our small group dinners that he does have a PlayStation 4.
he
You want
does.
to plant a EMT on it for us?
However,
EMP.
EMP, whatever you call them. I ain't the
However,
guy
I
who
will
makes them.
say-
I'm just the guy who plans
as
things.
of November 13th of 2022, I now own the mini fridge.
Me
Excellent.
too, man. When did I
Welcome
get
to
mine?
the club.
I don't know. That was
November
last
something?
Saturday.
November
That
That was
6th.
8 days ago. November 5th.
Hold on. What
No,
kind of
he got it
handshake is
November
this?
6th. It was my birthday.
Oh wait, yeah, because we went out on a Sunday for your birthday.
That's
Yes,
right.
but,
I bought it on his birthday.
Getting back into we're gonna try to wrap things up here in a few minutes. So, you being in your age, your position, all the things you've been through. You've been to college, you've graduated high school, you've been in our shoes. And a lot of people that are like our age. What's one piece of advice that you would give like
That's what I was
us
about to ask.
or anybody else that's our age or even younger, older, even older,
I was about to
moving into
say-
the future? What would be your biggest piece of advice?
think long term, live short term.
Think long term, live short term.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah, I can definitely see where you're coming from with that.
So
I mean,
the reason I say that is because when you're doing something, you want to think about its long term implications.
Yeah.
All right. You want to think, is this worth? What will this be worth to me in 5 years?
Yeah.
Right.
Whether it's an experience, whether it's buying something, always think long term. But also, when it comes down to it, you still have a life to live.
Yeah.
You're still young. You still have the ability to. You're not having to deal with other things. You're not tied down by a 9-to-5 job right now. So, yes, take the time, save up a little cash, get you a nice nest egg to be able to fall back on if something does happen. When I left that job at the hospital, I had a good nest egg.
Yeah. You had that pile of
That
money
way I
sitting
could
there.
say, like, okay, I'm taking a break
You can-
for a couple months. Gonna
Just
enjoy my
chilling out.
holiday.
Yeah.
I'm fine. I don't have to worry about.
You don't have to
Okay.
worry about bills.
I
Nothing,
can't
yeah.
pay for a McDonald's chicken and still be able to drive back home
Yeah.
tomorrow.
yeah,
Well, see, I was definitely doing that, but I knew how much I had. I knew how much I could spend, and where I could be with just a few cents or $1 left
Yeah.
to my name.
Which I had to get to that point. For me, it took that. I had to get down to okay. I've got $1 left in my bank account. And that's how I had to figure out. I had to learn the hard way how to manage my money.
yeah.
And now I've got a lot of it. It's
Mm-hmm.
not going anywhere. I'm not worried about it now. But I had to figure that out first. I had to go
Yeah.
there.
The quicker you learn to manage your money and manage your spending habits,
Because like I just
The
now
better off
started
you'll be.
budgeting.
I was
Like,
about
I just started budgeting myself on a piece of paper. I took all my money except for like $5 out of the bank, and I keep it all. Like I keep all cash, and I keep the records because it's harder for me to spend cash than it is for me to swap a card.
yeah,
Because you swap a card, don't think nothing about it. Now with me spending cash, it hurts me to pull money out of my wallet.
yeah, because you know what's there. It's all
that's
in hand.
that's the biggest tip I'll give you. You use cash.
Yep.
Yes.
Anytime you go buy anything, because the moment you break that $100 bill
It's gonna hurt.
It's
from the
gonna
bank,
really hurt.
it's gone.
I was about to say it disappears.
Because
In a
you can
heartbeat.
sit there and you can be like, okay, I spent $10 at Sonic.
Yep. Swipe.
Swipe.
$10 at the
nothing.
Dollar
you
Tree.
cough up a $20 bill and it's $10.56, and they hand you back the ones.
Yeah.
It's like, ooh,
I hate
wait a
breaking
minute.
that hurt a
20s.
little bit.
Like I dig through my wallet just to make sure I can't find a way not to break a 20.
Yeah,
And I'll be sitting there holding up the line in a gas station just trying to buy me
Yeah.
a drink. See, I'd stop buying food. Like I've not went to Sonic and bought my own food in forever. Trenton
However, I will say
has bought me Sonic so many times. I
But, I
stopped
mean-
buying food for myself.
I mean, it's not like it's.
well, he knows I do
can't
the same
it.
thing for him.
Yeah, it's I've like.
I mean, I've done the same for him.
Yeah, I mean, and I do the same for him. I do the same for you. It doesn't matter, and I know that any which way you flip it, we all do the same for each
I don't
other.
mind buying
See-
Taco Bell though, because
See,
Taco Bell's
and
cheap.
also,
Taco Bell
that's
is
another
cheap, and
thing.
Taco Bell is so good.
that's another thing that being financially smart allows you to do is to help other people.
Yeah. And
Because if you're sitting there crunching your own numbers, just like I have to make it till X day to get paid, and then from there I have to pay X bill, X bill,
yeah,
X
you
bill.
gotta take care of this, do this, do that.
You're sitting there sweating, and then someone comes up to you and says, "Hey, I'm in desperate need of like a $20 bill to get to work."
You know, I
tomorrow.
just recently had that happen to me. Somebody called me, but the amount they wanted was a little high, and I was like, you know, I can't actually do that right now. You know, I said I hate that I can't do it, but I physically cannot do it because I do not have that much money.
Yeah,
And you know, nothing else said. They understand. Which I mean, if I did have the money, of course I would. But at the time they called me, did not have the money. But
See, I've been able to help my friends go on mission trips. I've been able to help them go to do mission work in other countries. It's like I don't have the time to do it,
What it needs done.
but I can send you a couple $100
Yeah.
to allow you to do that in my place.
Somebody's doing it, and that's all that matters. You know?
See, one of the big things I've learned throughout being in high school and whatever is like it's not about you; it's about helping other people.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I think we've done a lot of that this year, more
A whole lot.
like
We-
these past 2 years than we have ever in my life.
I was about to
Especially
say
for me.
it's almost been a year to the day.
Like we,
I want to say November 16th makes a year to the day that Connor kind of set me and Finn up, because Connor knew that he was getting into a situation that was going to take a lot of time.
yeah.
He was getting into a situation where he wasn't going to,
I was getting into a very serious relationship, and I knew that like I wouldn't be able to juggle heavy friend time, because when you get into a serious relationship, I mean, it takes
I was
It
about to
takes
say
time.
it
it takes a lot of
time
effort.
and
Had to
commitment.
balance a job, school, relationship, friendships. It's it's a lot for
Yeah.
It was a lot for me.
At the time.
So I mean, I
And
let these two.
that's one thing I can say about Connor is no matter
Man's committed.
what's going on or something, he's always looked out for the best interest in me. Because the backstory of me and Connor is we met in preschool, and the only reason I become friends with him was
This is the only
the
reason.
only reason.
The only reason I've become friends with him back in preschool is because his dad taught at Lowville at the time, and he got there at 7 o'clock on the dot every morning. And I didn't get there till like 7:20, 7:30, something like that. And he would always, first thing he did when he walked in those doors, he would go grab the Hot Wheels cars, and like he claimed them. And I conspired for like the first week and a half of school. I was like, how am I going to be able to play with these Hot Wheels cars? How? And finally, I was like, I'm going to make friends with this kid. That way he will share his Hot Wheels cars with me.
And then therefore,
Because I was an only child. I was, normally if it was there, it was mine, And going into school, that changes a lot, especially in preschool, while there's still toys and
I
stuff
had an older
involved.
brother, so I was like, I need to take what's mine before I gotta claim what's mine. I know what's coming.
And so the thought process in my head was make friends with this kid, that way he shares the Hot Wheels cars. And then here we are over 14 years later, and it's
Been a long road.
It's been a
We've
road,
been
man.
through a lot of good and a lot of bad, and we've learned a lot for sure.
I was about to say,
And then this kid came into my life at camp. We
and that
started
was what,
together.
7th grade?
No, that was
Eighth
eighth
grade.
That was like into 8th grade, going into
Yeah.
freshman year,
That
freshman
started
summer.
there.
That's when I met this kid.
First time I ever hung out with Andrew was whenever you were still in therapy after you hurt your shoulder the first time. So that was
Yeah, the
freshman.
first time it's been like 4 times. Man. It's like it's
Yeah,
so
that
dope.
shoulder and him
Yeah.
has had a long history.
Yeah, long.
I'd say it was freshman year, and this memory will always stay in my head because where did we go to that football game?
We went to.
Frank Hughes, maybe?
Yeah, it was Frank Hughes.
I didn't
And-
come with them, let alone keep this in mind.
Yeah,
I'm
he
not
didn't
there.
come. Drew's on a gimp shoulder.
Yeah.
Chip has a broken wrist at the time. I'm the only one who's healthy.
Now keep in mind, me and Chip, we've been buddies for a long time at this point.
Yeah. And
he's
no, this was sophomore year. Sophomore
yeah,
year.
sophomore year. Because my sister, she's what, 7th grade by then,
Yeah.
cheering,
Seventh grade year.
and that's why we're going. This is
Yeah.
why we're going.
Yeah, he invited me. He was like, "Hey, my sister cheers and stuff." He was like, "You want to go to a ball game with us?" And I was like, "Yeah, let me ask. I'll come to the ball game." Well, I end up going with him, and my aunt was she's a physical therapist out there at Prestige. So I went up there to therapy with him, stayed with him for a while, and after that, his mom picked us up, and then we headed to Frank Hughes. Well, all of us, I ended up having to use the bathroom. He had to use the bathroom. This was in the first quarter maybe, and Jordan had to use the bathroom, Chip. So we all head over there. We were going to grab us something to eat, just that way you didn't have to do a whole lot of running and stuff. Well, this is a middle school football game, and we walked through 8 or 9, probably 6'4". They're all seniors.
They're big.
They're linemen. They're either linemen or linebackers. There's no
At Frank Hughes?
Yeah, these guys are huge,
I mean huge.
and I'm not having a good night.
No, it had been a bad day. His shoulder was hurting him. He was in a bad mood. Chip was just along for the ride. He was like, all right, Finn jumps, I jump, And I'm just sitting here like, all right, this is the first time I've hung out with Finn, and here I am going to get my hind end whooped by 6'4", just behemoths of men. And he walks through, and they say, I don't even remember what they said.
I don't even know what they said anymore.
They called us something stupid. Like, it was stupid enough to where, like, I don't even remember it anymore. Like, it rolled off my...
Stupid.
Like, stuff rolls off my shoulders pretty good. Like, you've really got to dig under my skin. But we end up going in the bathroom.
So they just shot me right off.
Like, he goes into the bathroom. He's mad. He's sitting there just mumbling under his breath, like, shaking with anger. Jordan's just sitting there like, what do I do here, you know? And I'm just sitting there.
He's
I'm like,
about 100 pounds at the time.
Yeah, he's about 100 pounds soaking wet with a cinder block in his hands.
Yeah.
In his one hand, because he has a broken wrist.
Yes.
And so I was like, you know what? Just let it roll off your shoulder, Finn. We'll go out there and grab a drink. Finn walks out the bathroom first. I walk out. Jordan walks out behind him, and then I walk out. Well, I was like, all right, Finn, you know, it's up here around the left, you know. I told him, I was like, we'll just go to the concession stand, grab a drink, grab some nachos, popcorn, whatever, and we'll go sit back down. Well, Finn takes off walking. I mean, he's walking fast, and in my mind the whole time, I'm like, just go to the concession stand, man. Go to the concession stand. Well, he keeps walks straight past that turn to go to the concession stand because there's no line. I'm like, it's right here. All you got to do is walk up to the window. Walk straight past it. And Chip turns around and looks at me and, like, throws his hands up, and I said, that way, because that's the way Finn was walking. I was like, we go that way. Well, then Finn walks up right in the middle of them, and Jordan's face just goes white. And he was like, well, here we go. And he takes off walking. I just grab him, and I'm like, you've got a broke wrist. You need behind me.
I said, what did you say to me? And
I mean, he just fired off immediately, and I'm like,
they were looking at me,
here
and
we
they were
go.
like, wow, this kid's got some balls on him. Like, he's just going up and
like
between us.
kids got kahunas, you know. And
they're like, nothing, man. I was like, all right, y'all boys have a good game. We shook hands.
yeah, like
we don't about my business.
all three of us shook hands with him, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like, at the time, like confrontation was not my thing. Like, if I got confronted about something, I was like, I'd start shaking or something, and I was just like, nope, keep confidence here, you know. Try to act like it's all good.
I guarantee you that would have went somewhere completely different if I would have been there.
Oh, if Connor
at
would
that age, because
yeah.
confrontation was my thing, conflict was my thing.
And
there
at
wouldn't
the
have been
time,
no talking.
Connor was primetime boxer.
Yeah, at the time, like I was doing my thing. Like I was thinking, I'm Connor 10 and nothing could take me down.
He stayed in that basement and boxed.
I taught myself how to fight in that basement.
Like,
and I got
punching
pretty good
bag,
at it.
Like 3 hours a day.
Dude, I devoted.
You got that down there?
Yeah.
I need to see that before we leave.
I devoted a big part of my life to boxing.
Oh, yeah.
I need to see that before we leave.
He was actually my trainer there for a minute.
Like,
and
every day.
That memory is gonna stick with me for a long one. But I can say,
yeah, that was wild.
I guess that's one way though.
That's one
to
way
make
to
a
really,
new friend.
really
oh
start
yeah,
off there.
but see, like my thing was how did why were we talking at that time? Like, did we just have a
We was
class
in
together or
holders
something?
together.
Yeah, we were all in holders together.
And I think you just broke my phone, or you thought you broke my phone.
Yeah, I thought I broke his phone or something.
I don't know how that happened. Still to this day.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I literally handed it, like, I set it down on your desk.
Yeah, and then I looked at it and I was like, huh, that's weird. Why is it going black in the corner?
well, you fast forward a few years later, and these two, they're both my friends. I'm doing things with them back and forth. You know, like I'm hanging out with Andrew, and then the next day I'm hanging out with Trenton.
Yeah.
And then after this one ball game, and me and Trent was at the ball game. Andrew called me, and him and his like girlfriend at the time, they were like about to break up or something, or they'd already broke up. And I said, "Come over to my house."
Yeah.
So he come over. We were all down here. We took him out to town, got him a hot fudge cake, started his hot fudge cake addiction,
Hot fudge sundae.
which I wasn't around for. These two had a hot fudge cake addiction. Every night was at Sonic getting hot fudges.
Every night.
But
I mean, it was every night for what, a solid 4 or 5 months.
Yes.
But
I
like,
mean,
we didn't stop.
and there would be days where we would eat like 2 or 3 of them.
Yes.
And we probably
That's gotta be bad for you.
we probably spent $300, $400, $500.
there's no telling
at
how much
Sonic.
money they spent on it. But like,
Well, look, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you right now.
Hey, that's part of the. What did I say? Live currently.
Yeah. Yeah, like
Forget that part. We just
the short term, maybe you lead into a long term hot fudge sundae from Sonic addiction. Not from anywhere else, but from Sonic.
yeah,
Sonic.
Sonic alone.
Had to be from
But
Sonic.
the long term part of that is that they made memories.
Yeah.
Y'all are
Yeah.
still talking about it to this day.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, and
Most
it's
definitely.
funny. And every
It
once
is.
in a while, I'll think about it, and I'll be like, I want a hot fudge right
Dude,
now.
it cracks me up thinking that these two, you think, whenever I'm not in the picture, they're out doing shenanigans. No, they're sitting at Sonic eating hot fudge.
That's it. Right
Connor, you are the root of the shenanigans, son.
I mean, it
there. You know
happens.
this, man.
But I'm
Like,
glad
call
that I
this to
could
work.
set
That's
these
it.
two up because
I was about to say, I mean,
I was really not in the picture.
I've known
like, hardly
Finn for
last
about
year.
2 years.
Like, I mean, I was there. They knew that they needed something. They could call me, but like, it was just like they were doing their own thing. I knew,
Yeah.
like, and if I ever wasn't showed up, I was included. It was like a good thing to fall back on because
Yeah.
with friendships, good true friendships never will turn their back on you.
No.
I was about to say,
Especially if
there's
they
been-
know the circumstances of whatever's going on.
I was about to say, like, I understood that. I was like, look, Connor hadn't really been in a relationship, in a hot minute. And I can say I haven't been in one since.
Shoot, you've probably been in one sooner than I have.
Speaking of, somebody at church, and I'm not going to name any names, but they told me to ask you, Luke, about the woman situation.
What woman situation?
Exactly.
woman situation?
That's the
That's how you put
situation.
it. Man, you don't need no woman. You still
mean,
got plenty of time.
Obviously, you're self-established. You got your own house. You done it all completely by yourself. When are you gonna get you a nice wife, Luke?
That's really what I wanted to do, is get set up.
At this point in my life, I'm down to, because I'll just be honest with you, the dating pool in Linden sucks.
Yeah,
No, you ain't lying.
it does. It
That's why I
does.
stay
Small
out of
town.
Linden.
Small town.
Well, it's not even that. It's just like,
What's
There's
your
not
options?
many.
What's your options? Where's
Yeah.
it at?
Well,
I'm trying to say this without being canceled on here.
Yeah, look, I understand what you're trying to say before you even try to say
starts
it.
with a W, doesn't it?
But
No, not even that.
Oh, well, okay. Maybe your dating pool's a little different than our dating pool.
see, right now at his age, it's hard for him to find somebody who's like either not pregnant, that doesn't have a kid, that they're not single mothers, that
Or someone
they
that
are
wants to
already
settle
established themselves. So they're trying to find somebody to bring to the table.
See-
He's also got to find somebody.
See, the whole mother aspect isn't a big deal.
Yeah.
The problem is who's their
Who's the
baby
Who's the
daddy.
father? Yeah.
Because if you bring that kid into your life, you also inadvertently bring that other person into
Yeah,
your life.
you bring them right
Yeah.
in, and you got to deal with them no matter who they are.
So if
A lot
that
of the time,
girl
it's not somebody to deal with.
has gone and shacked up with some who's he wants it from the club, that person don't give two craps about that kid.
Yeah, which means you are now the primary male role model in their
Well,
life,
which means you also have to listen to them, complain about them, and compare you to them, and yada yada yada.
which isn't. I don't do that.
No.
I
And-
don't listen to it. Don't put up with it.
And I'll tell you a story after this gets shut off.
Tell who a story? Just the three of us, or like, okay, I was
Yeah.
making sure that wasn't directed at
No.
one of us in particular.
Yeah.
But let's see, how do I word this?
2 + 2 = 3.
2
No.
+ 2 does actually equal 3, but
That's a story for another day.
that's also a story for another day.
I'm trying to think, where was I going with this?
All I've learned from math classes in high school is whatever you think is right is wrong.
Whatever I've learned from high school classes and math classes,
As
I
long as you
just
have Trent in your
destroyed that
class, you're good.
sentence. Whatever, if I have Trent in my class, I'm good. No, I've been good since
Oh.
7th grade then.
I know what I was going to say.
All right, what is it?
So at my current point in life right now, you have to bring something else to the table.
Yeah. I mean, that's
What if
Like-
somebody brings an exotic animal? Like, I know
Well-
you want assets, you want somebody who's good and stable, blah, blah, blah. What if somebody has an exotic animal, dude?
Like,
a
imagine they
weird
just-
bird.
imagine they
I
own.
can buy me a weird bird.
No,
Like, what if
like,
they have, like,
imagine
a
they own
really
like a
weird bird?
Roadrunner or something.
Like, imagine they're like, hey, we've been dating for a few months now. Let me show you what I got. All right?
I want to show you what I bring to the
They-
table.
they
I bring
blindfold
a toucan.
They blindfold you.
Bring a tiger.
You get in the back of a vehicle. You take the blindfold off, and you are looking at an albino ape, and it can talk.
And he can talk.
I had the most weirdest dream I've ever had in my life yesterday. I had an albino ape that would not leave me alone.
Spot because they have likely drugged you.
Luke, I had the weirdest dream.
And they have some child in their basement that is hairy.
Dude, I woke up. My dad woke me up at 11. He says the thing he always says when I sleep in that long. He says, "Been asleep for a long time, Captain." And I was like, I just woke up from the weirdest dream in my life. And he was like, what was it? And I said, I was in the zoo, and I was going around. All the animals were caged in except for this big albino ape. And for some reason, it could talk. And he would not leave me alone. And
Connor,
he
I have a
hugged
question
me,
for
and
you.
I hate hugs. Like, I really don't like
about?
hugs too much unless somebody like I really care about, whatever. This ape hugged me and would not let me go and was just telling me that it loved me, and I woke up to my dad talking to me.
Was your dad the ape?
Strangest dream I've
Was your
ever
dad
had in
the
my
ape?
life.
the ape.
No, it was just some ape.
Are you
It
sure
was like
it's
the
some
Jack Link's jerky Bigfoot, but it was like white and a lot bigger, and it was an ape.
Okay, so Connor, I have a question.
Yeah.
Do you think that dream was onset by the mask you bought in GTA?
I guarantee you it was. I bought
Because
an
we were
albino
talking
ape
about an
mask
albino
in
ape
GTA.
mask in GTA,
And
because-
the following night when I go to sleep, I have like
Yeah,
almost a
that's
fever
100%
dream.
A subliminal.
Like
Yeah.
I caused that, and I don't know why.
All right, well, look, I'm going to go ahead
It
and tell you
knocked
now.
a bear out for me with a punch and then hugged me.
I'm going to go ahead and tell you right now, Connor. If I have a dream about a big gray raccoon hugging me and telling me it loves me, I'm going to kill you.
Okay, well, fair enough. We'll have a new host if this happens. But yeah. Well,
I'll be in prison, so Finn, you got to take over the Perry County podcast.
Yeah, well,
All right. I'm
Luke,
going to put a heater in starting off is what I'm going to do.
I appreciate you coming on, man.
Yes, sir.
Had a lot of good conversations.
We had a great time having you, man.
I'm gonna ask you to, just step off. We're gonna do our outro, and then, well, let's definitely talk after this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So, what do y'all think?
great
Finally,
podcast.
episode 2. So much information, dude. I'm gonna listen
Yeah.
to this one. Who
I
knows
was,
how
I was
long.
about to say, this is going to be one that I listen to a lot
This is solid. I mean,
because
he's so smart with his
Very
his
smart.
money. Very smart guy as far as the money goes. He's a
Very smart
guy
and
in
very
general.
respectable.
Yeah.
there'll be things that I'm going to want to come back and listen to and really think
yeah.
about for a while.
Which I think a lot of the stuff we covered today is good advice just for
Yeah,
anybody our
I was about
age,
to say this
even
is,
younger, or heck, even his age.
I was
Younger,
about to
even
say
He's
older.
there's
smart
older.
for his age,
there's
man.
so many
But,
people, and he's well established.
Oh, he is.
Everybody knows him.
I was
You
about
say
to say,
Luke Cagle to somebody, they go, I know Luke.
That's a
Yeah.
respectable man right there.
I mean, a lot of people are going to know him, so I mean, this will be a good one to. I believe this may help us out as a podcast, but it'll also really help.
I think it'll just help anybody who listens
Yeah,
to it.
I was about to say this is just.
And it'll
gonna
help me
people.
for when I go watch it again.
I was about to say you're going to listen to this multiple times while editing it and stuff, but this will be one that I probably end up saving and downloading on my phone.
Yeah,
don't
well, I
blame
mean, I think a lot of people don't realize that, but these podcasts, man, we look at them.
Yeah.
Like, this
Yeah,
is-
I
I've
mean,
listened to the first one probably about 8 times now, and if you listen to the third episode, I say listen to it 6 times. Yes, I've watched it twice since then, and yeah, I can't wait to listen to this one again. I've
yeah.
listened to the third one once all the way through. Very long episode, just
very long.
yeah. So next week, come back and watch with us. We have Tucker Dabbs, Jax Plunkett, and Bryson Graves as our guests on the Perry County podcast.
that
It
was
an-
filmed prior to this.
It was filmed
George
prior to
filmed
this. It was a good episode. It's a long one. It is 2 hours long.
It's polar opposite of this.
It's-
This one.
It takes
Say
a
the
very
least.
dark turn. So yeah.
Yeah.
But with that being said, boys, let me just thank all of y'all for listening in. We invite you to come back next week, listen to the podcast with us, and please don't forget to hit the subscribe button and maybe smash that like button. It's totally free. You can undo it at any time, and it would mean the world to us.
Sure would.
So thank you again for watching and talking with us, because it's just our nature.